Hi guys, it's Freddy here, back on the desktop with this week's Retro RPG, and this week I would like to present this, Wraith the Great War, a 1999 game from White Wolf Publishing, part of their historical World of Darkness games. I don't know if they've got a proper title, but the World of Darkness itself had been massively popular with Vampire, Werewolf, Mage, Wraith, and Changeling. They're five main games set in the same world of spiritual creatures reacting in a sort of slightly dark version of the modern day. You know, vampires prowling the streets of cities, werewolves watching as the environment is wrecked by large corporations, etc., etc. However, they released a series of games to explore the background and history of this world. So they'd released Vampire the Dark Age, which was massively popular, really suited Vampire, with the vampires being the lords and ladies up in the castle, with the humans being the frightened villagers, scared of their rulers, literally feeding on the blood of the people. That had been so successful that they'd also released Werewolf Dark Ages, and I believe they'd released all the other games, Dark Ages versions, to create a secondary World of Darkness. But they'd also released Vampire Victorian Age, Werewolf the Wild West, which sounds a bit wacky for me, but since White Wolf were absolutely knocking it out of the park with all of their games at this period, I have no doubt it was probably a good one. I believe they'd released Mage the Sorcerer's War or something. I have no idea about that. And they released this, Wraith the Great War, which is set during or in the years very soon after the First World War. Wraith itself is a game where you play a ghost. You're living in the spirit realm, and you get your power from your connections to the real world, your fetters. So if you are a musician, you're trying to manipulate the world through your ghostly powers to keep your music remembered. If you're an author, you're keeping your book in publication, etc., etc. Maybe you're an artist and you created one painting. Perhaps you were just a good father and your kids remember you. These fetters can be as small and as large as you create. But the energy these bring into the spirit realm affect the spirit realm itself. So during times when lots of people die, so the Spanish flu and the First World War, and then later the Second World War, the spirit realm gets very upset with all this energy and creates what's called maelstroms. Big disastrous storms which cut off the ghost cities from one another, create lots of monsters and that. And this is set during the fourth maelstrom, I believe it is. But let's have a look at the back of the book. The First World War is over. Outside the walls of Stygia, the fourth great maelstrom rages. Overhead, ghostly pilots engage in dogfights against shrieking spectres. The gates of the necropolis slam shut in the face of the storm. And at the heart of the empire of the dead, a traitor works to topple what Oblivion could never. Civil war is about to strike Stygia, and Sharon, the one wraith that can prevent it, is missing. For the dead, the Great War has only begun. Journey back to a time of aces and anarchists, of lost souls wandering the Shadowlands thousands of miles from home. Behold an era of innocence newly slaughtered and unimaginable terror unleashed. Oh, I'm stumbling over my words this morning. From the heart of the Labyrinth to the killing fields of the Somme, from the skies above Stygia to the brutality of gangland Chicago, Wraith the Great War opens a new chapter in the history of the World of Darkness. Visit the underworld of the Twilight Era and learn secrets even the Deathlords are afraid to whisper, if you dare. Wraith the Great War includes new arts and arcanoi, plus new shadows, abilities and more. The chance to come face to face with Sharon himself, rules for ghostly biplanes, tanks and U-boats, and how to use them in the underworld. So I think it seems to be changing the tone of the game slightly, where in the World of Darkness, the Wraiths are very much about keeping themselves going. This is such a Shadowland-wide disaster that all the Wraiths are having to deal with it. A lovely image of poppies on the inside. for the bloodshed during the Great War. Inside what we got? We've got an introductory story. Lovely production as always. Barbed wire is the top and bottom of the pages. It's very evocative of the era. The black and white imagery of soldiers marching through the Shadowlands, but that could be anywhere in war-torn Europe, let's be honest. It's very evocative. The tone is lovely. Wraith has always been one of those games which was too perfect for my players. I so wanted to run it, but my players don't tend to take games seriously. It's game time, it's fun time, and Wraith is just so dark. You're dead. You're trying to grasp onto existence by making people remember you. There's horrors tearing your soul apart. It's just so dark and wonderful. But how do you get players to take it seriously? How do they break the tension? I have no idea. But I love the fact that Wraith and this one exist. Just so much history here. We're just building all the background as people came across into the Shadowlands as they were killed in the First World War and started setting up armies of the dead. Fate's chosen servants, the Silent Legion, the victims of despair. Let's skip forward. We've got the rules themselves, which are the standard White Wolf ones. So you have pips, which you put into your attributes and your skills, and then you add them together in combinations. So you, let's see if we've got character sheets, so I can remember the exact skills. So we've got the attributes: physical, social, and mental. Strength, dexterity, stamina, charisma, manipulation, appearance, perception, intelligence, and wits. And the abilities, which are talents, skills, and knowledge. So, you might have firearms, which, if you're shooting a firearm, would be dexterity plus firearms. But if you're fixing one or trying to work out why it jammed, it might be intelligence plus firearms. You combine the attributes and the abilities to solve almost any problem. So, subterfuge, when you're trying to con somebody, are you using intelligence or are you using your charisma? I'm sure there's some kind of intimidation in there. No, intimidation, right above subterfuge. So you're using your strength. Are you being massive and muscly to scare your opponent? Or are you threatening them and their family? Is it an intelligence-based one? Or it could even be charisma. You may just be so charismatic that you're controlling the conversation and using charisma plus intimidation. Just the way you approach any problem, you can combine the three. You get the pips and you add them together. Each one goes up to 5, so you can roll up to 10 dice against a target number of 1 for it's so easy that you shouldn't be rolling, to 10, you have as much chance of failing. You know, you're very unlikely to succeed. Travel at sea. Let's get through to the types of wraiths, if we can find them. Character creation. So you come up with your concept. Who were you? How did you die? Why are you still here? So you get to come up with the reasons why you're still around. Love. Love never dies, but you did. Uncompleted goal. The one personal crusade, had you completed it, would have let you die happy, but you didn't, and you're not happy. Just interesting ideas for not only creating what you used to be like, but what drives you now. So, as described, the abilities, talents, you've got contacts, allies, backgrounds, all the sort of advantage type things you can buy. You know, powers, puppetry, Are there no different types? The shadow is your other side, the side that's working towards your destruction. Literally, if you let your shadow get controlled, the games master or you let your shadow get controlled, the games master takes control of your character, or he can hand it over to another player who plays your character to its self-destruction. Tasty biplane. I think we've come to the nope, these are more abilities, botches. The Jade Way. Mortrites. That font is not easy to read. But I think that's about it. I've never played this game. I've read it with desire. I've got the original Wraith, which had a very interesting glow-in-the-dark logo on the front. And loved them both. But as I said, they're just too dark and full of despair for me to run for my friends who are just gaming to have fun. But they're just lovely works. So that's this week's Retro RPG. Thank you very much for watching. As always, please like and subscribe if you like at all what we're doing here. And most of all, you look after yourselves. Don't become a wraith. You look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye.